This is Pulse 95.
Pulse 95.
It's the Morning Majlis. It's the Morning Majlis. Talking the stories that are shaping headlines, plus those that make you go,
Welcome back on to the Morning Majlis. This is Rania with Abdul Karim and Ahmed, and we are less than 15 hours away from welcoming the new year of 2021. So hyped. And there's actually a number of interesting things we're looking forward to in the upcoming year, especially when we're talking about new launches. Not only, a lot of people, they expect to launch a new person out of themselves in the new year. But let's get away from that for a second and talk about what's really actually launching this year. A new iPhone, a new Samsung Galaxy, and many gadgets to watch out for. Are you guys excited for anything in particular for the new year?
As far as gadgets are concerned?
As far as something launching, you heard about it in 2021.
Well, I mean, there's still the PlayStation 5. It did come out already, but I'm waiting for the price to go down a little bit. So hopefully 2021 will bring that along the line. But I'm always on the lookout for a new phone, and I think things are moving in a pretty interesting direction. So we'll have to see what this Samsung stuff goes in. But we'll talk about that surely in more detail later on this hour. We're also going to be talking about youth initiatives here in the Emirate of Sharjah. So Jaya, young girls are doing big things as well, finishing up a program with the aim of investing in girls' potential. What is that all about? Stay tuned. Much more.
And there's the big concert over tonight in Khurfa Khan. So that is something that everyone's going to be excited for. And there's a kite flying festival going on.
What's going on there?
There are people flying kites. Hashtag See Sharjah. And they have been ringing in the celebrations for the New Year's Eve and really promoting the concert and promoting the new destination of the Khurfa Khan amphitheater that Sharjah has to offer. And and it's going to be a fun-filled
One
event.
thing for sure, especially here in Sharjah, I feel, or in the UAE, I feel 2021 is going to be Khurfa Khan year.
Yeah, I think so.
So much hype about Khurfa Khan, and it's worth the hype
because
of all the revamping that has happened in Khurfa Khan, and so fast. Within 1 year, everything looks different there.
Yeah,
so many launches.
Yeah, so many fireworks going on as well. And of course, there's so much to look forward to in the world of fireworks as well tonight. And once again, we talked about this yesterday. It's a bit of a reminder for all of you out there. If you are wondering what the color green is when the fireworks happen, it is barium chloride.
Yeah.
Right, and if it's red, it is strontium salts and strontium carbonate. And if it's the blues, remember it's copper chloride compounds. And purple, just in case you're wondering, just in case, it's a mix of blue.
There are about 5 chemicals, right? Is it 5?
Yeah, it looks like it.
Yeah,
Calcium
5.
salts, green, orange. Remember, whenever you see orange up there, it's calcium. Tell your kids to have more calcium. You know, that's what you got to do. And yeah, so that's something just in case you were wondering.
All right.
If you're one of those scientific brainiacs, and you know, instead of just looking at
Nice
the file.
You could
chemistry
impress
lesson.
people with those facts if
Yeah.
you're with your friends and tell them, hey, look, it's calcium right there.
This
Yeah.
is- there we go, calcium. Yeah, there is
The barium one.
strontium. There you go, strontium. How's it going? Yeah, so that's what it is. Fireworks, mix of chemicals, and it's something to be celebrating throughout the year. And we wish you all a very, very happy New Year from the Morning Majlis side. And we look forward to entertaining you throughout the coming years. And for now, we've got one more hour with you guys. So stay tuned to Pulse 95. We'll be right back, continuing the discussions here on Pulse 95.
Stocks, docks, and barrels. This morning's big business recap.
Yeah, Bitcoin. It's on a roll. It really is, and it's making major gains here, homing in on $29,000 per Bitcoin as the world's largest cryptocurrency pushes in this mind-numbing rally in 2020 past 300%.
Yep.
And this is a record for the Bitcoin, which in December alone has surged almost 50%, putting it on track for its biggest monthly gain since 2019, meaning that over this year it has quadrupled in value amid the coronavirus pandemic. So really interesting development. And I got a lot of people asking questions and studying the situation as to what prompted this climb for this cryptocurrency.
That's right. Well, the latest price surge continues to divide opinion between those who view cryptocurrencies as a hedge against the dollar weakness and inflation risk, and others who question Bitcoin's validity as an asset class given its speculative nature and also boom and boost cycles. Because that happened 3 years ago, I believe.
Yeah.
Right, 3 years ago, right? It was 2017 that surge really happened, and then it dropped again. So is it going to happen again? We don't know. But according to the Chief Technology Officer of crypto exchange Bitfinex, Paolo Ardoino, he said, while a growing institutional presence has been part of the narrative of the current bull run, we may see increased retail interest in Bitcoin as a form of digital gold. So regulatory concerns also remain a wider factor for crypto investors. Now, the Securities and Exchange Commission this month accused Ripple Labs Inc. and its top executives of misleading investors in affiliated token XRP. Now, while Ripple plans to challenge the accusation in the courts, the development underscores the prospect of stricter oversight of digital assets. And then XRP has plummeted almost 70% this month and faces further pressure with Coinbase, the latest exchange, to announce plans to suspend trading in the token. But I'm looking at like how much one Bitcoin is equals in our money, UAE dirhams. It's 106,624.
Quite the hefty price, especially when you compare it to the old price of the Bitcoin. I mean, think back in the day,
right?
In 2010, for example, you could buy it just very, very cheaply. When Bitcoin first started, it started trading at around $0.0008 for one coin. This is back in 2010. Look how far we've come.
Right.
Look, I'm going through some figures at the moment. In November, it was about $14,000, and in June 2019, its last peak was that as well. And the problem here with Bitcoin, first up, as a very generic point of thought, let's say if I'm not, bringing out the theories of cryptocurrency and why they are going to be the dominant value or the currency of the future. First up, you're not holding any physical asset to say, hey, this is my Bitcoin. I want to sell it off, guys. Who's here in the market? I am, let's say if I have no more cash remaining, I can go become a street vendor and sell my Bitcoin off. You can't do that. Yes, it's an online storage space. And the other harmful factor is if you forget your login details and whatever you need to know, you're in a bit of a state of bother. Why is Bitcoin rising? Well, the thing is, there is no theoretical resistance point for Bitcoin, because you know how stock markets get affected by the sentiments across the globe, and yes, Bitcoin can be as well, but there's no real explanation in terms of what's happening, because it has gone up from $14,000, $20,000, then crashed back down to $3,000. So it is very volatile if you look at it. But inflation and now the interest from the institutional investors is probably what's driving the value of Bitcoin. And it's just something that makes you think. I even had this conversation over the weekend. I should have invested. It was only $27,000 over the weekend. And now in 4 or 5 days, it's increased by $2,000. And you're thinking, that's 7,000 dirhams just gone.
Yeah. Look, I mean, you're right about that, and it's good to be cautious about it as well. This is not an endorsement or investment advice. We leave that to the experts. But looking at the situation, analysts are saying that there are signs that we're going to head over to a pretty steep decline for Bitcoin moving into January. That's because despite this increase in investment that's been entering the markets over the past couple days, the overall trading volume has actually declined by $10 billion. And typically January is a bearish time for the Bitcoin and the wider cryptocurrency market. So it's pretty plausible that this current rally would not last throughout the next month, and larger investors would start offloading their bags onto retail investors just as we enter the new year. So we might see another price crash, so to speak, heading into the next year. But that's the thing with Bitcoin, like you said, Abdul Karim.
Yeah.
It's volatile.
Exactly.
Pretty much.
I don't want to be a Debbie Downer here, but like
Yeah.
for as volatile as the stock market has been in 2020, you wouldn't know it by looking at Bitcoin, which is up by more than or about 200% on a year-to-date basis through the late evening of, for example, last week. So this jaw-dropping rally is rebuilding the euphoria that overtook the crypto community back in 2017, as I mentioned earlier, and probably has folks believing cryptocurrency is a good investment. In my point of view, I'm not part of that community, nor can I say I ever will be. The higher Bitcoin goes, the more convinced I am that it's one of the most dangerous investments to take. I don't know. It's just me talking, because each of the major these surrounding Bitcoin can be easily debunked.
I think what analysts are also saying that since PayPal allowed you to buy and sell Bitcoin, that's made things easier.
Yeah.
And the access is there, I mean, for a person like me who is always going to be thinking, if I buy it now, can I resell it? Can I get my money back very quickly? And then having to use apps which weren't really authorized to be used in certain countries just made you question a lot of things. So really, it's down to what experts are going to think, and what people who are really into this kind of investment and buying shares would be interested in doing. But very peculiar situation.
Not only that, its perceived cap of 21 million tokens exists because of a computer code. And last time I checked, computer codes can easily be erased and rewritten. That's just me.
Well, that's another important thought to ponder over.
It lacks genuine scarcity, yani, I feel.
Okay. So get involved on the text lines 4215. Any particular point of investment that you're a big fan of? For me, I'll bring out the old school vibes. Real estate is the best thing to do. Maybe.
Real estate is pretty good, yes.
It's gold for me.
Gold?
Yeah. Always will be.
Historically it is, and this is what the Bitcoin preachers would like to argue against, and saying move on from that. This is the currency of the future. My friend told me.
But I feel like gold has always been, like, through all the eras, it has always been there.
It's always been there. Yeah, it's true.
The thing about Bitcoins too is they quote-unquote mine Bitcoins out of this code, so it is a limited supply of Bitcoins.
And this is one of the reasons why the value is really high. And then to an extent, it's not a physical commodity. It's just a thing that you've got.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's a code or a crypto. It's a cryptocurrency. That's what it is. Literally.
Is it going to be the norm in the future? That is another point of discussion, because we hear the big buzz terms: cryptocurrency, blockchain, all around the world, and let's see what happens. Well, stay with us on the morning.
I'll stick with my gold safe haven.
No. Everyone likes the balance sheets anyway. But yeah, stay with us on the Morning Majlis. We'll be right back after the sports headlines. And then up next, we have that big Majlis debate. Should everything become cashless? And if it's not cashless, should we argue for it? All of this will be discussed right here on the Morning Majlis.
Join the conversation with the Morning Majlis, Pulse 95.
One sector that's been evolving here in the United Arab Emirates since the start of 2020 is the cashless ecosystem. A lot of places, a lot of vendors and a lot of shops have now started to use the payment options. UAE residents are also among the top 10 globally when it comes to spending time on the internet and social media, averaging about 7 hours and 54 minutes daily. That's according to a statement coming out from senior government figures here in the country, especially when it comes to the economic departments. COVID-19 pandemic has accelerated the UAE's transition to a cashless society, but still 63% of the people in the country remain either unbanked or underbanked.
Yes, according to the CEO of the Corporate Strategic Affairs sector in Dubai Economy, Mohammed Al-Sadi, said that the recently launched Unified Payments Network, or the UPN, seeks to offer an inclusive platform that will bring together all payment service providers and also unbanked as well as underbanked merchants to facilitate cashless transactions. He said a cashless ecosystem will be a key driver of the UAE's growth. Now, he spoke at the 9th Dubai Economy Market Dialogue session, which is currently ranked 20th. He said that the UAE, which is currently ranked 20th in the world in digital payments, needs to be proactive, as many economies are in the race right now. He said unless we act now, the UAE will slip by 2-3 ranks in the digital transaction race.
Yeah, so the impetus for this discussion was the launch earlier this month of a unified payments network by the neighboring emirate to boost the cashless economy. And what we've seen as well is the fact that during the pandemic, we've seen the UAE's digital transformation accelerate quite a bit, and the UAE is a prime candidate for a transformation into a cashless society. That's due to the fact that mobile phone usage is enormously high, so is internet connectivity, and all the more reasons for businesses to join the fray and enable that digital transformation on their end as well.
This is the big debate, isn't it? Do we prefer the cashless world and what's going on in terms of us going to the shops, and do we prefer the fact that we do that they should have the Visa payment, and does that deter us when they don't have the cashless payment option? For me personally, I think because I've lived in the UK as well. In the UK, back in 2012, it was very much use cards. Just use cards for everything.
Yeah.
And back then in 2012 or let's say 2010 as well, in the UAE, a lot of vendors would say minimum payment of 50.
Yeah.
To complete a transaction on card. A minimum payment there, you have to have a minimum payment here. Or you would... even on petrol stations back in the days, it would be 2 dirhams to use your card to fill up your petrol, and that just deterred people from using the cards a bit more. And in the United Kingdom, it was just a normal thing. If you're buying something for £2, £5, pay by card. And it was very weird. I don't know. I mean, do you think we've become a bit more cash savvy? Do we prefer the card payments everywhere we go?
We definitely do, especially now with the e-payments, with the e-pay with your phone.
Yeah, Apple Pay and stuff.
The Apple Pay and all of that. So that's emerging fast.
Because
I don't feel a lot of people, like, you ask a lot of people, you have cash on? No, I don't have cash on me. I don't have cash on me. A lot of people say that now. Before, it wasn't like that.
Because when you go to like places where you can get 1 dirham karak.
Yeah.
Whenever I want to get it,
like,
when I'm craving it.
are you really going to give them like your card for 1 dirham?
But I've felt that. Okay, for example, for a dirham I won't use the card. If they say minimum payment 10 dirhams, I'll buy a snack. Okay, no problem. But there's a lot of times when I really crave a karak and then I look at my wallet, I don't have coins or cash, and I'm like, what do I do?
Yeah.
And you're stuck. But Ahmed has been to China, and you know, you talked about how even smallest of all vendors would not accept cash.
Yeah, the smallest of all vendors. I mean, even poor people have a barcode for street musicians, people who are paid, like, basically the entire society run cashless, and in order to enable that, I mean, that's going to be tricky as well, because what if your phone dies? So what they would do is they would have charging stations everywhere, and you can borrow a power bank, and you don't have to return it to that charging station because they're all over the city, so you can just charge your phone on the go and put it somewhere else. And such. So for me, it's a lot more convenient, less time and costs with like handling, storing money, worrying about it as well. And every transaction is well tracked. Yeah. People can't just snatch your money, or you can't lose it, technically speaking. And really look forward to the day where I can just roll up the Karak store and they'd show me a barcode and that would be it, you know, just take 1 dirham. Because seriously, sometimes I have 100 dirhams and I would feel really obnoxious giving them 100 for 1 dirham karak. They'll look at me and they'll think I'm the worst person on the planet.
They'll give you evil looks.
They give
like,
me, really? They really will. But yeah, we're heading in a good direction here. I think it's going to happen one day for sure.
Currently, about 80% of Swedes use cards, with 58% of payments being made by card and only 6% made in cash. And by the year of 2023, Sweden is proudly becoming the first country to go 100% cashless. Wow. First nation in the world. That's their plan by the year 2023.
There's so many reasons for it too. I mean, if you're germophobic as well, you don't want to handle money all the time. People
I feel like the UAE will go 100% digital or cashless. We're gonna become a cashless society very soon.
We can,
Very soon.
and hopefully we will, because the big challenge now is, that the report said, 63% are still unbanked, because the banks here, they have a minimum salary requirement
That's right.
to open a bank account. So it becomes slightly more tricky unless things change.
I feel like that's going to be sorted out.
I think, it looks like it. It looks like the government is also coming up with new initiatives to help and facilitate that, which is always very good news. But looking back at it, from comparing it to the reason why I brought the UK example was because from 10 years we've evolved quite a lot.
Definitely.
And it's really amazing to see that how everything is digital, and you use applications to even check your fines. Back in the days, you'd have to go to a police station and click on a button, and then they'll tell you these are your fines and pay it off. Now we can, from a simple SMS, we know if we've been fined or not, or a simple application to see if we've got the 30% or 50% traffic fine discount that Sharjah had initiated as well, to see if it's being applied to our fines or not. So much has been happening. But I went down to 06 Mall yesterday, very, very fantastic mall. And I tried to, I washed my car, and then I didn't have cash on me, so I spoke to the guy. I said, "Hey, do you accept bank transfer at least?" And he gave me an evil look. I obviously was joking to him, but I had to go inside and queue up in the cash point to get cash out. It was funny, but yeah, for little services, you still need cash, and that's hopefully that will change in the near future. Well, stay with us on the Morning Majlis. We'll be right back and continuing the discussions here on Pulse 95, and we'll be talking about what is happening with Russia's plan of home delivering vaccines. What's going on? All of this will be discussed right here on the Morning Majlis.
Pulse 95.
The Morning Majlis, talking the stories that are shaping headlines. This is Pulse 95.
When it turns to the year ahead, 2021, and you are owning a very brand new phone, you get sad because your phone's going to be old now. And you think, why?
Same goes for cars.
Yeah. Happy New Year is great for a lot of people.
Yeah.
But then when you own a car, you're thinking, God, my car's 4 or 5 years old now.
Yes.
And my value's gone down.
Exactly.
If you think of it that way, it's not the greatest of all.
It's not the greatest.
No, so instead of we being the Grinch of the New Year's, let's start talking about what's there to look forward to. So if you are a tech or a geek, to tech geek, or someone who loves your technology, what's there to look out for? iPhone 13, or is there going to be something different? Are they going to go with the, we can't go with the unlucky number, so we'll call it iPhone X3 or something?
Yeah, plenty of gadgets that are set to come out next year, 2021. One thing I'm looking forward to in particular, they got the 14-inch MacBook Pro. That's expected to be released. It's more of a higher-end version of their MacBook Pro as well. And probably is going to cost a lot, but it's got a pretty beautiful display as well. So look around for those. Around March 2021 is when those MacBooks are going to be out. There's also a lot of hype around the Google Pixel Watch. So Google, until now, has yet to release a smartwatch of its own, but there's a lot of hype that in the next year there will be a product coming, a Google Watch, so something to keep an eye out for, but not necessarily hold your breath on. And a lot of products to go through, but one more thing as well is the Nintendo Switch. If you're into video games, they might release a more upgraded version, a more affordable version with better displays and somewhat more adapted to today's gaming experience as well. So there's really something for everybody to look forward to in the upcoming year.
Yep, of course. So much to look forward to indeed. I think S21 is going to get everyone's attention, especially after iPhone 12 has done really well. I'm sure Samsung's going to come out with a bit of a cracking device for sure. Oppo has been making the headlines as well. Lots of new devices. Microsoft Surface Neo, that's a foldable laptop. That's going to come out soon as well. The next iPhone is one thing. Are they going to call it the 13? Or are they going to call it the X3? What is that going to be?
Yeah.
Well, but yeah, it'll be very interesting to see. They're saying that there's going to have a quad lens setup. That's not been ruled out yet. That means 4 lenses. At the moment, iPhone 12 looks like the furnace of a stove at the moment. But with the 4 lens thing is going to be something remarkable. But only time will tell. But Future Talk team will have lots to say, I'm sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Take it over for us, guys.
Yeah. I'm looking at a list of predictions for 2021 from some journalists. They've made previous predictions 2020 of what's coming up in 2020 when it comes to the trends. So I'm looking for the list of 2021, and they're saying gaming will yield some of the most exciting IPOs of the year, and they expect it will. You will see that Roblox, for example, Epic and Discord completing successful multi-billion-dollar IPOs in 2021. Also, the growth of podcasting will continue strongly as this technology reaches more and more consumers with a wide variety of content, especially video podcasts. Also, they're saying the creator economy will prosper in 2021. New tools and platforms will enable more professionals, semi-pros, and amateurs to make successful apps, games, or other software using creator tools from companies like Unity or App on Board, BuildBox, Roblox as well, TikTok, Triller, YouTube, and so on. Also, home voice platforms will move forward or toward ubiquity in the US, and many more services, content, gaming, and other features will be offered through voice platforms, including services using artificial intelligence and machine learning, which will advance the complexity and the quality of games as well. So many other things as well.
Yeah, Rania. I mean, we're also going to be working from home for quite some time as well, so expect to see some strides made in that front of things. It's going to be interesting to see how pricing adapts over the next year as well. I'm guessing it's going to be quite expensive. We'll have to see. I think it just came in as well as the Samsung Galaxy S21. There's a major leak of its specs. It's going to do away with a curved display, going to go more flat as well. So that announcement is expected to be around January 14th if you're interested in hearing more about upcoming smartphones in 2021, but for pretty much every month, expect to see a lot of big announcements on tech.
Lots more announcements to look forward to indeed. Well, stay with us on the Morning Majlis. We'll be right back after the world of business news. We'll keep these discussions going on, and we'll continue with more expectations for the year ahead. This is the Morning Majlis, only on Pulse 95.
Pulse 95.
The Morning Majlis, talking the stories that are shaping headlines. This is Pulse 95.
Well, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle have released their first podcast through their multi-year deal with Spotify, saying they hope it brings warmth, a smile, and something to think about to listeners at the end of a very difficult year.
Yeah, pretty star-studded cast of guests that spoke on the program. It includes musician, singer Sir Elton John, presenter James Corden, tennis player Naomi Osaka, and even Tyler Perry featuring in episodes for this podcast. And with the first episode out, they reflected on what the year had brought everybody. Meghan Markle saying, quote, "No matter what life throws at you guys, trust us when we say love wins." They did not delve into their personal experiences of 2020, which were all over the news, when they announced that they would step back as, quote, senior royals before moving to the United States. Instead, Meghan Markle explained that they decided to enlist a, quote, few friends and a lot of other folks who we admire and get their thoughts on what they learned from 2020. Some notable excerpts from the program include Sir Elton John describing the year 2020 as, quote, the worst year I've ever known. It said he hopes that when the pandemic passes, that we have become, quote, better people, and I hope for healing.
Big competition for Morning Majlis podcast, which you can find on SoundCloud and Apple Podcasts and even on Spotify. Just search for Morning Majlis, subscribe and share away. But then I'd like to invite these guys who are trying to get into this world of podcasting to join the Majlis, and we can have a discussion on air with them about their new role as not so senior royals. Let's listen into what they've had to throw on the world of Spotify and what have they been talking about. Let's listen in.
The year when we stopped taking our existence for granted.
The year defined by vulnerability and uncertainty.
2020.
So true. We wanted to know what they'll remember about this year, how they'd explain it to future generations, what they learned about themselves, and what gives them hope. Their responses have given us a lot to think about. And it all came back to one thing, to the power of connection.
We'll try not to interrupt too often, but we'll jump in here and there to make some intros. So sit back, grab a cozy beverage if you can. We hope this brings a little warmth, a smile, and something to think about.
I'm sure they meant Morning Majlis podcast, not their podcast.
Yeah.
Not at all.
Well, we were in the middle of a tour.
So this is what's been going on. So this is incredible how these guys have just come up with some new content to be sharing and discussing and reflecting on the year that has gone by.
Keeping themselves busy. As we will be tonight, all of us.
Exactly, keeping ourselves busy and reflecting on what's coming up next for us in 2020.
For the better.
Absolutely. So what was our favourite moments of the year 2020, do you think? Or something, not even just favourite, something that you say... Unique and strikes.
Unique was recording from home.
That was really funny. Recording from my car is memorable as well.
Yeah.
Apparently my home was too echoey for a while, so I did it in my car. I just hunched over my laptop doing a show with you guys for quite some time. I think it's pretty funny to look back on.
Yeah, doing Morning Majlis in pajamas was the best thing.
Pajamas, and I was
comfortable.
Eating the whole time.
You were
comfortable indeed.
I literally was eating sometimes I put it on mute. You guys were talking and you wouldn't know because we wouldn't have the cameras on. So I'm like sitting in my pajamas and my ponytail, and then I would have the most, rice. I would have rice next to me. I'd have chips. Yeah, and I'll be eating. And then, the moment I have to swallow quickly before I have to, it was like my turn to talk. So it was like really funny.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Well, I was quite happy with making new friends with in Sharjah Police, Sarul Jasim Busim, and who's also a colleague on Sharjah Broadcasting Authority, as well as Lieutenant Abdullah bin Aylan.
You went on patrol with them?
I went on patrol twice with them. So, yeah, it was good fun for sure. Shout out to all of you. From Morning Majlis, it is now time to hang our microphones and headphones and boots as we...
Just for the weekend.
Just for the weekend. And we'll be back again in 2021. And thank you all for tuning in.
That's right. And stay tuned to Pulse 95. We've got more shows coming up. And if you'd like to listen to highlights of our program, we're on Spotify, SoundCloud, and Apple Podcast. Just type in Morning Majlis. And
not only that, but there is a video of all of us presenters coming up on Instagram, on the Pulse 95 Radio Instagram. Today, look out for it today. It's going to be a very unique video. We're going to be reflecting on the year of 2020 with all of our experiences, what we've done during this year. It's going to be an emotional roller coaster kind of a video. It's not your average Pulse 95 Radio video. So look out for that. If you haven't subscribed to or followed us on Instagram, do so. Pulse 95 Radio it is. Thank you for joining us on the Morning Majlis today. So many shows are coming up right after 2 p.m. on Pulse 95. Have a great day. Have a safe one. Stay happy. Stay optimistic. Thank you so much.
I'll see you very soon. This is, or was, the Morning Majlis on Pulse
95.
If you liked this episode of the Morning Majlis, drop a like and subscribe.
95.
Be sure to follow us on Instagram for all our daily updates and top stories.
Pulse.